everybody's always busy, right?
Oh, isn't that the truth? Yep. You guys doing much in task anymore?
Doing what?
Doing stuff in task anymore?
Oh, yeah.
How's the rails to trail thing? Are they doing anything new?
Well, I don't know what would be considered new. There's been a little bit here or there.
We did the last thing, which was Dollar General. We worked on that, which then the city took over after that point.
Yeah, that might have been the last one, but it didn't open until recently.
Ah, okay, but
So
they did
I
get
think
it?
of it as new.
Yeah.
But
Good.
we just had one of those old buildings burned down a couple weeks ago.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah. It was unfortunate, but it was way too expensive to renovate it, which is why it was sitting there.
Was it the old trading post?
No. It's got a name, but I can't remember the name. It looked like it was, it had that old western look to it, but it was much larger than the
I think I know which one it is, yeah.
Drum store.
Oh gosh, I think that thing had to be dry timbered inside and so on.
Sure.
Corrugated metal to keep it warm.
Yep, that's right. That's the building.
Yeah.
Hey, good, Seth. How are you?
Catch the minutes for, Recording in progress.
That one's got your name on it, yeah. It's tough to see from that side. How are you? Doing well.
Okay. Let's see here. Yeah, let me write that down. Correct that APN number. It is 059. Is that what that? Oh, 054. Okay. 050 006. Okay, Andrew, thank you. Okay, you're welcome. Paul, are we ready to roll pretty soon?
I believe so.
Okay.
I will now call this meeting to order. Good evening and welcome to the October 28th, 2021 City of Hollister Planning Commission meeting. May I have the verification of agenda posting, please?
Yes, the agenda was posted outside of City Hall on Friday, October 22nd, 2021 at 8:40 a.m.
Thank you, Amber. Commissioner Stevens, will you lead us into the Pledge of Allegiance, please?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Roxanne. Roll call, please.
Yes. Commissioner Seth Munzer,
Here.
Commissioner Roxanne Stevens,
Here.
and Chairperson David Huboy.
Here.
Thank you.
I will now ask for the approval of minutes dated August 26th, 2021 and September 23rd, 2021. You had a chance to review
Commissioner
them?
Huboy, I can only vote on the August minutes because I was not here last month, so maybe we should do
We'll do
separate.
we'll do two separate votes.
I just can't vote on last month's.
And you would
And-
abstain.
And Chairman Huboy, may I say, I also believe that Mr. Munzer needs to recuse himself on one of these items, which means that we have two sets of minutes in which it's literally impossible for us to vote on and to approve, because even when we get those other two seats filled, those individuals will not have been here for the meeting and would not be able to vote on it. So under those circumstances, those very limited circumstances, state law allows both Commissioner Stevens and Commissioner Munzer to vote on those items.
Okay.
Okay, I will make the motion to approve the minutes as written for April 26th, 2021 and September 23rd, 2021.
Second?
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
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 Minutes are approved. Now we go to communications from the public on items not listed on the agenda. This is the time for anyone in the audience to speak on any item not on the agenda and within the subject matter of the Planning Commission. Speaker cards are available in the lobby and are to be completed and given to the secretary before speaking. When the secretary calls your name, state your name and address for the record and speak to the Planning Commission. If you are joining us by Zoom, please click the bottom of your screen to raise your hand. If you are joining us by Zoom using a phone, please press star 9, Each speaker will be limited to 3 minutes with a maximum of 3 minutes per subject. Please note the state law prohibits the Planning Commission from discussing or taking action on any item not on the agenda. Do we have any speakers for any item not on the agenda?
I do not have speakers for items not on the agenda, and I see no hands raised on the Zoom.
No hands raised from the virtual audience. Then we will move to public hearings. Item number 1 is the Site and Architectural Review 2021-10. Maminder Singh and Vishal Mitani, the applicant, is requesting a site and architectural review to construct a single 1,168 square foot apartment, 2 bedrooms and 1 bath, on a 10,047 square foot lot located at 650 Central Avenue, further identified as San Benito County Assessor Parcel Number 053-260-006 in the Old Town High Density Residential zoning district. The subject parcel has 2 existing apartments on it. Unit 1 is 3 bedroom, 2 bath, and Unit 2, 2 bedroom, 2 bath. In addition, this project is located within the Special Study Seismic Hazard Zone. CEQA is categorically exempt. I have a staff report, please.
Yes, thank you. Good evening, everyone. As mentioned, this application is for Site and Architectural Review 2021-10 for a project located at 657 Central Avenue. The project is to develop a third unit on an existing 2-unit parcel, so creating a triplex, 3 units on one property. And the property is located in the Old Town High Density Zoning District at 650 Central Avenue. The Old Town High Density Zoning District allows between 12 and 35 dwelling units per acre. This property is just a little over 10,000 square feet, and the proposed third unit will bring the development to a density of 13.0 dwelling units per acre, which will bring it into consistency with the densities allowed in both the general plan and for this zoning district designations. And this will also provide additional rental housing within our community. The proposed third unit will be located at the rear of the lot on the very left of your screen, and this has direct access to Canal Alley, with Central on the other side directly accessing Unit 1. That existing unit, Unit 1, you'll see it on the far right of your screen, is a 1,356 square foot, 3-bedroom, 2-bath unit. And the second existing unit in the center, Unit 2, it has access from the rear from Canal Alley and is a 905 square foot, 2-bedroom, 2-bath unit. And the proposed new Unit 3 will be a 2-story unit with a 2-car garage on the first floor and 598 square feet of living space on the second floor. It will be a 2-bedroom, 1-bath unit. This is the floor plan. So again, garage on the first floor, 2-car garage accessing the alley, and then living space above. These are the existing elevations of both Unit 1 and Unit 2. The proposed unit will be 2-story, and it will have horizontal siding consistent with the existing Unit 1 that faces Central Avenue. And all of the details of the facade are consistent both with the existing units and with the Old Town density residential neighborhood and general design guidelines. There is exterior lighting proposed at all of the entrances to provide some additional safety and lighting in that area for these future residents of this unit as well. This southern elevation has just 2 garage doors on the first floor and some windows on the second floor for the residents. Here's the east and west elevations with ground floor entry and then windows in the living space. And you can see partially the staircase up into the second floor. It's an exterior entrance. And this is the front view, which faces into the property. And this shows the actual staircase entrance up into the unit. The project, as it is multifamily, is required to meet our multifamily open space standards. And Unit 1, which is shown on the bottom corner of your screen here, will have 2 private open space areas. One is 336 square feet, and the second is 882 square feet, which is a total of 1,218 square feet of private open space for Unit 1. Unit 2 and Unit 3 are seen up here on your screen. Unit 2 has 662 square feet of private open space, and Unit 3 has 660 square feet of private open space. Per section 1704.040, which is our open space requirements for residential development, there's a minimum of 500 square feet of total open space, and that can be split between private and common. But in a development such as this, which is less than 5 units, if all of the open space is provided, all 500 square feet is provided as private, which it is in this case, there is no need for common open space. So there is no common open space, and there's no requirement for common open space in this development. With regard to parking, go to an overall site plan here again for you. There are 2 existing tandem stalls here for Unit 1 off of Central Avenue. And then the project will widen this existing driveway off of Canal Alley and provide 2 parking spaces here by Unit 2, one labeled for guest, though guest parking is not required for 3 units. It starts being required at 4 units. And then Unit 3, as we've shown, has a 2-car garage. So there's 2 parking spaces per each unit. And based on the number of bedrooms, the parking requirement for this whole project overall is actually 5 spaces. So they are exceeding the spaces by 1 space. And they also have a bicycle parking space here by the guest parking, which meets our bicycle parking requirements. The project site is located within our Alquist Priolo seismic study area for fault hazards. However, pursuant to the Alquist Priolo Act, the development that doesn't have more than 4 units is exempt from it's not a project per the act as long as it's less than 2 stories and is of wood framed construction. So because of that, this project isn't triggering any faults, trenching requirements or anything like that, and can proceed forward under our standard S&A process. With that, staff recommends that the Planning Commission review the applicant's request, receive written and oral testimony about the proposal, and make a motion to adopt a resolution approving the Site and Architectural Review 2021-10, subject to the findings and conditions in the draft resolution.
Thank you, Eva. Any questions on the staff report? Just one question at this time. The tandem parking, so that is allowed within the municipal code?
So we had this discussion during the project review. Tandem parking technically requires a conditional use permit. However, because the site only requires 5 parking spaces, there's 2 2-bedrooms, which is a 1.5 parking space per, so 3. And then the 3-bedroom requires a 2 parking space. So that's 5 total parking spaces. That they're meeting the 5 without counting that 6th tandem space as one of the necessary parking spaces. So no conditional use permit required as part of the approval.
Okay, thank you. I will have a comment on that later. Any other questions? I will now, without any further questions, I will now open up the public hearing at 6:17. Any speaker cards on this item?
No speaker cards.
I have no speaker cards for people in the audience, but I do have Matthew Kelly in the Zoom audience. I'll go ahead and unmute you now.
Matthew, are you representing the applicant?
I am. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can.
Great. Thank you,
Good evening.
Eva, for your presentation and for pointing out that all the zoning requirements are met and actually exceeded by this project. I'd like to point out that the architecture is by Tammy Jackson, and the project also features landscape design by Rosemary Bridwell. We appreciate your review and look forward to your approval. I'm here if you have any questions.
Thank you, Matthew. And it's always good to know that, or for you to disclose that the design professionals are local. I know both Tammy Jackson and Ms. Bridwell, and they do excellent work. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any questions for Matthew from the Planning Commission? Thank you, Matthew.
Thank you.
Any other speakers on this item, item number 1?
I see no other hands raised and no one else in the audience. Thank you.
Okay, without any further speakers, I will now close the public hearing at 6:18 and bring it back to the commission. I'll just begin by having a comment here is that this is a good project. You know, I like the project. Provides rental housing that's sorely needed in our community. But knowing the accessibility code, and the reason why I'm kind of focusing on the parking, and I may not be exactly right on this, but what we have here is 3 dwelling units on a site. And when you have 3 dwelling units, that does apply to accessibility with the California Building Code, which means that once it goes through a plan review, that it may, for the parking, it may, they may determine that instead of that guest parking with 2 stalls, you may have to have an access aisle. And by providing an access aisle, then you'll go from 6 to 5 parking stalls. But then again, I don't want to get over technical. We don't really get into stringent code review at this level, but knowing the code and knowing that it may affect the parking, I have to bring this to the attention, your attention, that once it goes through four-leaf plan review, and they don't distinguish in the code rental or privately owned properties, just 3 dwelling units, it may end up that they convert those 2 stalls into an accessible stall with a van accessible aisle, and then the 2 dwelling units on ground floor entrances they may have to make some modifications there, but it's not going to affect, since you do have an additional stall. That's why I was asking you about the parking. Once it does go through that review, and if they do end up going down to 5 stalls, it's still, everything else would still, in terms of the setbacks and all that, the architectural aspects would still be fine, I would think. But I would be remiss if I did not bring that to your attention, that it may be a slight change once it goes through that review. Any other comments?
No, I have no other
Okay.
comments to make.
What is the pleasure of the Planning Commission on item number 1? So we have a site and architectural review on the table here.
I'll go ahead and make a motion to adopt a resolution approving site and architectural review 2110, subject to the findings and conditions contained in the draft resolution.
I'll second it.
Any further discussion? I have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Site and architectural review for item number 1 has been approved. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
And I'll just note for the record that will be resolution 2021-29.
Thank you, Eva.
Thank you.
We go to item number 2, conditional use permit 2021-7, Wine Bond California LLC. The applicant is requesting approval of a conditional use permit for Crave Wine Company to operate a wine bar and retail shop in a plus or minus 1,675 square feet existing ground floor commercial space at 616 San Benito Street, further identified as San Benito County Assessor Parcel Number 054-050-006. Did I get that right? Okay. Located in the downtown mixed-use zoning district. The applicant anticipates operating under 2 types of ABC licenses. License 20 for off-premises and license 42 for on-premises wine and beer only, no liquor. The business will not be preparing food, but will offer snacks and other food items for purchase from a licensed commercial kitchen for resale. The hours of operation will be from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. Sunday through Thursday, and 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. Friday and Saturday. CEQA is categorically exempt.
Thank
Amber?
you.
You're welcome.
As mentioned, the applicant is requesting approval of conditional use permit to operate Crave Wine Company, a wine bar and retail shop in an approximately 1,675 square foot existing ground floor commercial space at 616 San Benito Street, which is located in the downtown mixed-use zoning district. The mission of the Crave Wine Company is to sell and showcase wines from across California and the globe. Their subsequent goal will be to highlight the many wines that are grown and produced locally in San Benito County. The business will be offering wine tastings and by-the-glass purchases. In addition, the applicant has indicated that they will be pursuing 3 different channels of retail sales: walk-in purchases, a wine club, and online sales. The latter 2 channels will be fulfilled principally at an off-site warehouse. Overall, the full concept would operate like a winery and a tasting and retail room. The applicant anticipates operating under 2 types of ABC licenses: license 20 for off-premises and license 42 for on-premises sales of wine and beer, no liquor. The business will offer snacks and other foods like cheese and charcuterie boards for purchases from a licensed commercial kitchen for resale. They anticipate their hours of operation to be from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. Sunday through Thursday and 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. Friday and Saturday. No architectural changes will be made to the building. The applicant has indicated that they will be making the following tenant improvements. They intend to add a partition wall for an office storage space that will be approximately 295 square feet. The second will be adding an ADA compliant ramp to access the ADA compliant bathroom, which has recently been upgraded by K&S Properties under a different permit. And 3, they'll be doing cosmetic upgrades, addressing the ceiling, floors, paint, retail racking system, and a bar and back bar. Some of the cosmetic changes could create minor electrical changes, such as things dealing with light fixtures, and they will also be addressing plumbing, adding a water line for a commercial dishwasher that will accommodate wine glasses. A condition of approval has been added to ensure that any future signage is approved through securing the necessary permits through the planning and building departments. The project is located within the downtown historic district, and it's also located in the downtown parking assessment district, and therefore does not have to meet any specific on-site parking. The applicants are requesting approval of a conditional use permit as it is required of the Hollister Municipal Code Section 17.22.070 alcohol uses. Under this section of the zoning code, the off-site and on-site sale of alcohol is permitted. It is a permitted use subject to a conditional permit. An exception to this code applies to the on-site alcohol sale at a restaurant with an on-site dining that has a bar area that does not exceed 30% of the gross floor of the premises. For the purpose of the exception, a restaurant must have a kitchen facility that is approved for the preparation, cooking, and serving of food to customers for compensation. Crave Wine Company is required to obtain a conditional use permit because their facility is not able to meet this exception. As previously indicated, the business will not be preparing food on site, but will be offering snacks and other food items for purchase from a licensed commercial kitchen for resale. As a part of the conditional use permit process, the applicant has applied for a Type 42 license with the Alcohol Beverage Control, ABC, to authorize the sale and on-site consumption of wine. The ABC has issued an ABC 245 form to the city, which is distributed when the agency finds that there's an undue concentration of alcohol outlets. Pursuant to the Business and Professions Code 23958.4a, undue concentration means a case in which the applicant premises for an original or premises to premises transfer of any wine licenses located in an area where any of the following conditions exist. 1, the applicant premises are located in a crime reporting district that has 20% greater number of reported crimes as defined in Subdivision C than the average number of reported crimes as determined formal crime reporting districts within the jurisdiction of the law enforcement agency. 2, as to on-site retail license applications, the ratio of an on-sale retail licenses to population in the census tract or census division which the applicant premises are located exceeds the ratio of on-site sale licenses to population in the county in which the premises are located. And 3, as to off-site retail license applications, the ratio of off-site sale licenses to population in the census or in the census division which the applicant premises is located exceeds the ratio of off-sale retail licenses to population in the county in which the applicant premises are located. ABC staff has determined that there is an undue concentration in the number of alcohol-related licenses that are currently existing in the area of the city, also referred to as Census Tract 0004. The ABC is authorized to issue up to 8 licenses within the census tract without consulting a local municipality. There are currently 22 existing licenses. As a result of the undue concentration, California Code Section 58.4 requires that a local governing body of the area in which the applicant premises is located or its designated subordinate officer or body determines within 90 days of notification of a completed application that the public convenience or necessity would be served by issuance. The city was notified by the ABC that it's necessary for the city to make a finding of public convenience in the relation to a request for a Type 22 license for Crave Wine Company. Since the city council is the governing body, the council has the ability to make a determination that either a public convenience or necessity would be served by the issuance of a Type 24 license. The role of the Planning Commission is to offer a recommendation of the project as a whole, since the conditional use permit is based on the determination that public convenience or necessity would be served. Staff has determined that the establishment of a wine bar in the downtown mixed-use area is appropriate and is consistent with the other uses in the downtown. This use is also consistent with the City of Hollister's general plan designation of downtown commercial and mixed use, which encourages ground floor pedestrian-friendly retail sales and service uses with upper floors and offices and residential uses. And with that, staff recommends that the Planning Commission review the applicant's request, receive all written and oral testimony regarding the proposal. And as Eva pointed out on the slide, just so everyone's aware, there was a slight mistake with the APN. We just want to point it out for the record that the APN should be reflected as 054050006. So there will be two recommendations. One is to adopt a resolution recommending to the City Council that they should determine the public convenience of necessity would be served by the issuance of a Type 42 license to Crave Wine Company. And the second is to adopt a resolution recommending to the City Council approval of conditional use permit 2021-7, subject to a determination of public convenience or necessity and the conditions contained in the draft report. Are there any questions for staff?
Thank you, Amber. Any questions on the staff report?
Yeah, if staff can go over license 20 and kind of the parameters on that for the offsite. Does it allow a consumer to purchase a bottle of wine, take it home, or to purchase a glass of wine and have it in the parquet outside?
So not claiming to be an expert, but on-site would be if they're consuming it on-site, and then off-site, I would imagine in this case, is that they can purchase bottles of wine to take home. So the applicant would probably know more, but that would be my understanding of the ABC license for on-site versus off-site.
Okay, thank you. I have no other questions.
Roxanne, any questions? Just generally speaking, putting the alcohol licenses aside, since this is a commercial space, no changes to the exterior, it's a change of occupancy would require planning discretion, right? Is that correct? Because it's a change of occupancy?
It's the alcohol use itself requires a conditional use permit.
But let's say there was no change, the previous occupancy, like was retail, and another retail was to be the new tenant. It would not be subject to the purview of the Planning Commission.
Correct. Yeah,
Okay.
if it was just a permitted by right use, like retail or food, like a restaurant or something, the Planning Commission would have no say. The alcohol use in the City of Hollister, if it's affiliated with a restaurant meeting that exception that Amber talked about, it doesn't require a CUP. So that's what most of our licenses, especially in the downtown, are. They have food affiliated with the alcohol use, so it's a restaurant, and we have that exception from the CUP. However, this one would require a CUP approval, and so you would be seeing it regardless, but because of this undue concentration that the ABC has determined, it needs to get that also public convenience or necessity determination, and so that's why it will go also to the City Council.
Thank you. Okay, we'll go into the public hearing now. Open up the public hearing at 6:32. Any speaker cards on this item?
Do you not have any speaker cards? Let me check.
Anyone in the audience care to speak on item number 2? Anyone in the virtual audience?
I do not see anyone in the virtual audience.
Okay, I'll close the public hearing at 6:33. Bring it to the Planning Commission. I'm little surprised of the proliferation of alcohol licenses within our city, but when we look at this in terms of a convenience or necessity, I look at this, of course, as a more of a convenience than necessity. But I think that looking at the context within this tenant improvement project and considering the alcohol licenses, I think it goes along with what's happening in our downtown, with being more festive, and there's a lot of more activity there, and I think this would be, in my view, appropriate. Any other comments?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I like the part where they want to highlight local wines, so I really hope that that happens. I think that's a good thing, especially as, we're working towards attracting visitors to our local wineries. So I think that's a plus. So I'd like that as an addition.
That's a very good point. I saw that too. When you're promoting our local wineries, which we have some outstanding wineries, that's a big plus in my view.
That's right, and I agree. Yeah.
Okay, any other comments on this? What is the pleasure of the commission on item number 2?
I'll make a motion to adopt a resolution recommending to the city council that they should determine the public convenience and necessity would be served by the issuance of type 42 license to Craven Wine Company.
I'll
PC
second.
resolution is?
It's going to be 2021-30.
Any further discussion? I have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
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 That motion is approved.
And for the second item, I will make the motion to adopt a resolution recommending to the city council approval of the conditional use permit 2021-7, subject to determination of the public convenience and necessity and the conditions contained in the draft resolution. PC 31?
Correct.
2021-31?
Yes.
I'll second.
Further discussion? I have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Item number 2 is approved. Congratulations. Now we move to item number 3. Tentative map 2021-2. Conditional use permit 2021-8 for a planned unit development site and architectural review 2021-8. HPG Hollister Development LLC. The applicant is requesting approval of a tentative map, conditional use permit for a planned unit development and site and architectural review for the subdivision of a 23.51 acre parcel into 116 single-family lots and 28 duet lots. The project is located at north of Meridian Street, south of Santa Ana Road, and west of Margaret Mays Middle School in the medium-density residential performance overlay zone. Further identified as San Benito County Assessor Parcel 019-310-002, CEQA mitigated negative declaration previously prepared. Staff report, please. Eva?
Yes, thank you. This item, as mentioned, is an application request for a tentative map, a conditional use permit for a planned unit development, as well as site and architectural review. The applicant is requesting to subdivide an existing 23.51 acre parcel located north of Meridian Street, south of Santa Ana Road, and east of Margaret Mays Middle School. They're dividing this parcel into 116 lots for single-family detached development and 28 lots for duets, so single-family attached units. The applicant is also requesting a conditional use permit for planned unit development to receive flexibility from the standard medium-density residential minimum lot size, and also to allow for a 0 lot line setback on those attached duet units. In addition, for the duet units, the applicant is requesting site and architectural review by the Planning Commission. This project site is located within the medium-density residential performance overlay zoning district, the R3 MPZ, and it is currently being called Avalon Village, the Avalon Village subdivision. This site, the tentative map site, is located on a currently vacant parcel with the exception of a small existing shed, which is proposed to be demolished as part of the development. And there'll be, again, a total of 144 residential lots with 116 detached and 28 duets. There's also an additional dedication of a just over 2 acre parcel, parcel A, which you see here in the northeast corner of your map, the bottom right corner of our screen. North is facing to the right. And there will also be a parcel in the opposite corner being dedicated to Margaret Mace Middle School to help alleviate some traffic to extend their parking lot. The project is providing public roads throughout the site, which provides through access from the existing dead ends at Moore Park Drive here from the village's subdivision to the east, as well as Brigantino Drive located here, if you can see my pointer on the screen. And it will also extend Memorial Drive to the north from Meridian Street all the way to Santa Ana Road. The project is proposing to improve the intersection of this slide, I just pointed out the duets. They're located throughout the development, so I identified all of 28 duets here. The project is improving the Memorial Drive and Meridian Street intersection with some sidewalk bulb outs at the corners and enhanced striping for both bicycle and pedestrian traffic near the school to improve safety for people crossing and for bicycles crossing the road here. The intersection of Memorial Drive and the project driveway, which is proposed at Current Drive in the center of the project, will have a mini roundabout or a traffic circle in compliance with the City of Hollister City Council's roundabout policy to encourage them where feasible. And it will have a raised median with some center islands and some pedestrian safety islands. So there's a mid-block stopping point for pedestrians at this traffic circle intersection. And then finally, at Memorial Drive and Santa Ana Road, the northern side of the project, at this intersection, there'll be a full roundabout installed, which will provide for adequate vehicular circulation and also help eliminate some U-turns that are happening out of the Gavilan Hills Elementary School and the Hollister Dual Language Academy driveway during the school drop-off and pickup hours. There's currently no legal left turn out of that school driveway onto Santa Ana Road, and people are going to have to legally go all the way down to Lucero Drive in the village's subdivision in order to circulate back around. With the project approval, school traffic will be able to utilize the roundabout here to either return down Santa Ana Road heading west, or they can use the Memorial Drive extension to head back down to Meridian Street. The Memorial Drive extension is included within the City of Hollister's general plan as an important circulation item, and it's for critical circulation improvement, particularly for the school traffic that's in this area. In addition, I don't know if I have a full site plan back again here. In addition to the vehicular traffic circulation that I was discussing, particularly with the Memorial Drive extension, the project's providing internal pedestrian circulation throughout. There's some pedestrian paths located at the corners of the cul-de-sacs and through the project driveways and near the park to access Santa Ana Road and Memorial Drive throughout the project. This will increase walkability not only for this project, but also for existing development in the area, particularly the villages to the east. There's also a proposal to provide and complete the sidewalk connection that's currently non-existent on Santa Ana Road, extending beyond the project site to the east, which will provide connected sidewalk all the way down to the village's subdivision at Lucero Drive. So that will provide safe sidewalk, walkability for pedestrian traffic going to and from the school. The Memorial Drive provided the cross sections here. The Memorial Drive extension on the top of your screen has a separated class 4 bike lane on either side of the vehicular travel lanes. And then the Santa Ana Road section includes a 10-foot multi-use class 1 path for both bicycles and pedestrians on the south side of the street. So it doesn't have two-way bike traffic because the city limits are completely on the south side of the street and the vast majority of development is on the south side of the street. So this will keep everyone on one side of the street, on the school side of the street for safe passage. As mentioned, there is a request for a conditional use permit for plan unit development alongside this project. The plan unit development CUP allows for flexibility within the general development and site layout standards while preserving the integrity and character of the residential areas within the city. It encourages innovation and development of affordable housing or housing that's more affordable in design compared to standard market rate homes. And it ensures consistency with our general plan. For example, the minimum lot sizes in our medium density residential zoning district are 5,000 square feet for a single unit, 6,800 square feet for a duplex, so 2 units, and 10,000 square feet for 3 units. This project site is within our performance overlay zoning district, which allows the approval of a CUP for PUD to create variation and allow unique housing developments. The project proposes a mix of single-family detached and attached housing, and will also have 3 lots available for construction, custom construction. The applicant's requesting just 2 variations from our standard R3 zoning with this CUP. One is for allowing a 0 lot line for those shared duets, so allowing that type of attached housing. And then the second would be a variation to allow a 3,066 square foot minimum lot size versus that 5,000 square feet that's standard R3 zoning. And the 3,066 is for the smallest duet lots. And the range in sizes across the subdivision is 3,400, just over 3,400 for the smallest single-family detached, all the way up to 6,818 square feet. And so this request that for the CUP is in compliance with our section 1714-010, which is for our residential performance overlay zoning district. That section allows a reduction with a CUP to a minimum of 2,500 square feet, so less than what they're requesting here. The overall density of the development is about 9.8 dwelling units per net acre, which is consistent with the R3 MPZ zoning district, which allows between 8 to 12. With those 2 exceptions, the applicant's proposing to be consistent with all our other regulations for setback and lot coverage in the R3 standard zoning district. Moving on to our site and architectural review, here's a conceptual street scene rendering. As you saw on the overall site layout earlier, the duets are designed to blend in throughout the development. And so because they are attached housing units, they do require site and architectural review by the Planning Commission for consideration. The duets, the applicant also provided single-family architecture, but that's just for your information. The Planning Commission doesn't actually have any authority under our code. Those will be reviewed and approved with our building permit submittal process. There are 2 proposed elevations and 1 set of floor plans for each of the duets. The plan 1, which is on the left of the screen for the duets, has a 2-car garage, half bath, a kitchen, and a great room area on the first floor, and 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, and a laundry room on the second floor. And then plan 2, and we're looking at the first floor here, plan 2 on the right has a 2-car garage, half bath, kitchen, dining, and great room on the first floor, and then also 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, and a laundry room on the second floor. The two plans, as you can see, they share only a wall. Oh, watch is talking to me. Oh. They share only a wall in the garage on the first floor. And then the living space on the ground floor as well is separated by 5 feet to the shared property line. And the second floor of each unit is also separated and doesn't share any walls. This is the Spanish elevation of the duets. It has the entry to Plan 1 on the left with the garages connected in the middle, and the entry to Plan 2 is on the right. And then this is our cottage elevation. So 2 different elevations, but the same floor plan for both of the proposed duets. This, as I mentioned, these are our single-family proposed floor plans and elevations. Just going through here, we have Spanish, cottage, and craftsman architecture for several different floor plans. Before I get into this condition slide here, as mentioned, this is designated in our general plan as medium density residential, which allows 8 to 12 units per net acre. The project is consistent with that requirement at 9.8 units per net acre proposed. The general plan also includes the extension of Memorial Drive as part of the circulation element, and this project provides much needed that extension, which will greatly increase the traffic circulation in the area, which is largely caused by the proximity to the schools, especially at drop-off and pickup time for the 3 different schools in the area. There is not a lot of option for circulation, so Memorial Drive will help to alleviate a lot of that traffic congestion. The applicant has worked with the Hollister School District over the pre-zoning and over the design process of this project to provide additional parking for them and parking lot circulation at the southwest corner of the site closest to Margaret Mays Middle School as well. And also, as mentioned, that the project is completing an off-site project to complete that existing sidewalk gap between Lucero Drive and Gavilan Hills on Santa Ana Road to increase pedestrian safety. In discussing the conditions with our engineering team, there are 2 changes that are being requested to 2 conditions. So this is the same condition, a tentative map condition number 30 and site and architectural condition number 36. This is with regard to the final occupancy inspection and the impact fees that are required by the project. There was a letter, and it was provided to you earlier via email by Abraham, and there's also a copy available up, a hard copy, a letter and determination agreement with the city from 2017, where the applicant was dedicating right-of-way for a storm drain easement in the vicinity, and so the city and the applicant agreed that they would not have to pay storm drain impact fees to connect. So we're requesting, per that agreement, to remove the storm drain as part of subsection E of this condition. And Mark Falgo from our engineering department is also online if there's further questions on that. And then there was also discussion about this condition, and I will probably go to Mark for the technicalities of it, but it is tentative map condition 63 and site and architectural condition 69. Again, the same condition. It currently reads what you see on the left regarding coordinating a CDS unit on that storm drain line. And this is language clarification. On the left, you see that it says it's a city project and that they're coordinating with the city. But the language on the right that was agreed with between our engineering and the applicant was just to clarify the language that the unit was always supposed to be a city project, and it's not, the applicant's not installing or performing that project. If there's questions on that, I'll turn you to Mark. So with that, staff is recommending that the Planning Commission review the applicant's request, receive all written and oral testimony regarding the proposal, and make the following 3 motions. The first would be to adopt a resolution approving tentative map 2021-2 with the change to condition 30 and 63 as I described. The second would be to adopt a resolution approving conditional use permit 2021-8 for plan unit development, subject to findings and conditions contained in the draft resolution. And finally, adopt a resolution approving site and architectural review 2021-8 with a change to conditions 36 and 69 as described. Thank you.
Thank you, Eva. Any questions on the staff report? I have a couple of questions.
Sure.
Has there been any conversation about, I think we have community facility district funding mechanisms for maintenance such as HOA or anything of that nature?
Yes, so the project, as with all our residential projects, is conditioned to go both be annexed into CFD4, which is for public facilities, streets, sidewalks, parks, landscaping, lighting, and they will have to privately maintain storm facilities with some kind of HOA or other agreement with the properties, and then CFD5 is for our police and fire services, and they will be annexed into that as part of the project conditions of approval as well.
And that includes the parcel A park?
Yes, so the parcel A will be dedicated to the city and maintained by the city, but it will be part of the CFDs, so the property taxing district, to cover the cost of that maintenance.
And in summary, all the infrastructure, the Memorial Lane extension, the drives, the sidewalks, the roundabouts, all will be paid by the applicant, is that correct?
The maintenance, or
no, the installation?
as I understand, yes, the applicant will install. Yeah.
They will install all that?
Yes.
Okay. Any other questions from the commission?
Yeah, a couple questions. So I was just wondering if you could give a little bit more information about the 2 letters that came to us on the sewer lines. It's very technical, not very clear to me, so I just wonder if you could explain what that is. It sounds very concerning. I'm not sure if I'm reading it properly, so I'm just wondering if you could give an explanation.
I will turn you to Mark, who's online, our interim city engineer from Kimley Horn.
Good evening. The letters that, or the emails that I saw, I didn't necessarily see letters, were a request to extend the sewer line on Santa Ana Road to the east. Is that what you're referring to?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Okay. And what the letter is stating is that typically a project will improve its frontage. In this case, it's sewer. There isn't anybody yet in the city limits in the easterly direction who would utilize that sewer line. So if it were installed, it would be installed and unused. The letter had suggested, or the email had suggested that this applicant should be required to install that line now before that road gets paved and it becomes more costly, but the road's already paved. The sewer line would be installed in existing pavement, so it would be just as costly as a future installation should a project east of this one require it. We did not add a condition for this project to extend the sewer to the east for the sole reason, well, for the couple reasons that there's no user to the east yet, that any future users by application would extend the sewer the same as this project is doing. If you look at sheet 6 of the tentative map, this project has to go over well into the frontage of the school to pick up sewer to be used to tie into, and that the city would, if the city paid for it or had this applicant pay for it with some sort of a future reimbursement agreement, it would just be empty pipe sitting in the ground. So there didn't seem to be a good benefit or cost savings to install it today.
Okay, thanks for that. And then my second question is, I was wondering if you could just go over the traffic flow as it relates to both Market Maze and Gavilan Hills, and HDLA. I sort of remember this project. It's been a while when there was first talk about this project starting, and I think there was a different expectation for the way that the traffic would flow and the way that parents would be able to do pickups and drop-offs, and everybody who has any kind of pickup and drop-off with most of our elementary schools in Hollister know that it is a nightmare, and I think that the one at Avalon Hills is probably the worst. So just wondering if you could go over that, and then just remind me if I'm remembering correctly that the original plan for that is different than what we have now, or at least a discussion around what would be the proposed flow of the traffic for pickup and drop-offs would be for those parents.
Sure, I can attempt to answer your question as best as I can. So taking the project design as it is now, and as I understand all three of the school drop-offs, I've been there. On Santa Ana, talking about Gablin and HDLA, they have a right in, and then I believe it is a loop of traffic to drop off, and then you come back out, and it's technically a right out only on Santa Ana Road. And you, as I mentioned through the staff report, you would have to legally go all the way down to Lucero Drive, which is in the Villages subdivision, in order to turn to either come south and kind of wind your way through that subdivision, or possibly make a turnaround in the residential area. And then you'd be able to turn left and come back west on Santa Ana Road. With this project, you would have the option of essentially a U-turn. It's not technically a U-turn, but you would take the roundabout all the way around, and you'd be able to turn around. So you could do a right out at the school, and then you would be right at the roundabout. And let me go to the site plan here. So the schools are here, and you can actually see the school driveway, the closest one here. So normally you would have to take a right and come all the way down Santa Ana, beyond the project, down here to Lucero Drive, where you could turn around and come back. With the roundabout installation for the north schools, you'd be able to come here, and you could take the roundabout right around and come back and head west. Or you could also come down Memorial south to Meridian, or continue south this way. So it would provide through circulation this way, and also the opportunity to turn around at the roundabout. For Margaret Mays on Meridian Street, you can come in and out of their parking lot. It's a little bit different. I'm not certain that it's one way currently, but the proposal would add, so there's parking kind of this way, and I believe there's a second driveway near to this side of the school, but it's kind of just a parking lot and driving in and out and parking and things like that. And I believe people also park on the street here. But again, you don't really have, you're kind of turning left across this big right of way, or not. So coming out of Margaret Mays, you would be able to obviously come north through Memorial, or even coming into, if you lived up in the northern part of town, you could take Memorial down and turn right into this parking lot. But the applicant's also dedicating this parcel for the parking lot circulation, so it would be a one-way loop here. Actually, it loops this way and then around, and it would just provide more parking spaces, and also just an option to loop and drop off to help kind of alleviate congestion in this parking space area. As far as the previous project proposal, there was a very original map during the pre-zone process, but it has always looked very similar to this one. The major changes from that original design that we were talking about in the preliminary pre-zone process is the addition of the traffic circle and the roundabout. There was four-way stop and two-way stop and traffic light controls being presented at that time, but the city has since adopted that roundabout policy. So staff and the applicant have been working together to come up with roundabout designs and kind of continuous flow options.
Mm-hmm.
But for school circulation, this has always been kind of basic shape of the map.
And the back, so the top part of that map, which is kind of like, I don't know
The
if that's
west.
like the back of the
Yeah.
of the project, and then it's like what goes up to the school.
Right.
Will that be a walkway? Will that be fenced? What will be right? What's the barrier there, or will there be a walkway? What will that be?
So there won't be a walkway. It will just be rear property line, kind of standard residential fencing, good neighbor fencing. There will be walkways at the edge of the cul-de-sac. So instead of, if you lived, for example, here, you wouldn't have to walk all the way down here and come out to Memorial. There's a cut through here, so you could head this way on the sidewalk. And then same thing on this side, you can cut through at the cul-de-sac for pedestrians. And then obviously we have all the crosswalk installation at each of the intersections. And then we also have a pedestrian cut through near the park here for this side, so you don't have to come down and to Memorial. And then there's also this sidewalk easement / driveway here, so you can access Memorial from this edge. And then is there one? I don't believe there's one through to Meridian on this side of the project, but.
So will that back thing just be the back of the houses, a fence line? What's back there? I mean, what would?
Yes, it would
It's
just be just fences.
fence?
Yes.
So when the kids are there and they're looking that way, they're just gonna see a fence along that border? Or
Yes.
I mean, they won't see the houses, they'll just see the fence line right there.
Uh,
But there will not be a place to walk or anything, they're just gonna be,
Right. Yes.
okay. Okay, I don't have any,
Seth? Okay, and I have no further questions. We will open up the public hearing now at 7:05. Any speaker cards on this item?
We have 3 speaker cards.
Before we do speaker cards, we have received several comment letters, as well as one that we just received just short of this meeting via email from, Miss Carla Torres de Luna. So Amber is passing out that email that we received regarding the project, and so reading that into the record as received. And then we've also received a letter from the property owner, Steve Rosati, which you should have a copy. It has yellow highlights. Do you have this one? We got that tonight during the meeting. And then we received an email that you should have a copy from Alexander and Ingrid Siwak. And then we have a letter from the Hollister School District from Kip Ward, the Assistant Superintendent, which you should have a copy of as well. And then we also received one letter from the applicant's team as well, from a Mr. Brian W. Winter from the applicant's team. So that is all the written correspondence, and please let me know if any of the planning commissioners haven't received that correspondence, and if anyone would like copies. I have a few copies, and we can make copies certainly for anyone who would like one. With that, we do have some written speaker cards for this project.
Victor Gomez.
Jason. Honorable Chair, members of the Commission, thank you very much for your time. Victor Gomez here representing the developer and property owners. First of all, I want to thank all three of you. All three of you participated in the MND and part of the pre-zone for annexation, as Roxanne remembered as well. And so we're happy to have at least some continuity there with the same commission and working with you. When we came here for pre-zone for annexation, one of the commitments, it was a unanimous vote, and one of the commitments from, one of the requests from Commissioner Stevens was for us to work with the Hollister School District. The good thing is that at that time, Carla Torres de Luna, who's a trustee there, worked with us directly through Lisa, eventually Diego, and now Erica and Kip, to constantly work with them. We worked with the Hollister School District pretty closely for a number of years. But the reason we are looking at complete streets or sidewalks to Lucero, the reason we have that roundabout and that safety component, the upgrades to Meridian and Memorial, and the dedication of property was really because of you, Roxanne. So thank you for encouraging us to work with the school district and come up with a plan. I think that works for everybody. So as you saw in that letter that the Hollister School District sent, they're pleased with this agreement. The only thing that came up recently was a conversation I had with Carla earlier today. That's in that email that she sent to you. To Roxanne's points regarding the fencing, obviously, we looked at certain components of that in the past. The police department and the fire department had concerns with any type of pedestrian connectivity behind the houses on our side of the property, right? So those that conversation, it was never in an actual document, but that conversation ceased pretty quickly because it just wasn't feasible. But I do want to follow up with you quickly and let you know that about 20 minutes before the meeting started, I did connect with Carla, talking to her on behalf of the school district, and I do have a plan to address some pedestrian connectivity on their property. So Carla seems to be very satisfied with that. I have another developer coming in that's going to be assisting with that, and but that would be something for the school district to take on. But I'm just happy to share with you that I think the school district, or Carla specifically, is satisfied with that. So with that, I have plenty of other comments that I want to make, but first of all, traffic circulation is going to be great. Connectivity, safe routes to schools, obviously that's very important. On-site infrastructure, the dedication of millions of dollars for traffic impact fees that will go to the widening of Highway 25 as well. That's very important. So we are paying, obviously, all those fees. Again, happy to see the Hollister School District letter. We're very happy about that. And just in general, just the layout of the project, the work with the planning staff just all worked out really well. We're happy. It seems like planning is happy. We're happy that the school district is happy as well. So this, really the collaboration, I think that started with you folks 3 years ago, plus years ago. Steve's probably more like 40 years ago, but has worked out really good. And I think that's why we're here today with, I think, a really good project that all of you could support. We have technical staff or members of our team on Zoom if you have any technical questions. And certainly Mr. Rosati's here and Mr. Letterbor are here to answer any questions that you may have as well. So thank you for your time, and sorry for going over.
You're welcome. Thank you, Victor.
Steve Rosati.
Good evening. Thank you for the opportunity to provide some information tonight. I'm Stephen Rosati, property owner, family representative. I'm requesting that the Planning Commission provide continued support and approval tonight for the project by approving the site and architectural review, the conditional use permit, and vesting tentative map. The project fully conforms with the city's general plan. Based on both the direction of the general plan and desire of council members, this project will provide infrastructure improvements that benefit the surrounding neighborhoods, the two schools adjacent to the property, as well as the community as a whole through the continuation of Memorial Drive and parking lot improvements at Margaret Mays. The property also provided way back in 1992 infrastructure improvements through its participation in the Meridian Street District, and the property has been vacant ever since. So that was kind of a benefit that the city got, way back when the property didn't provide any impacts at all. I'd just like to provide a few significant features from the general plan. The project is classic infill. It's desired by the general plan, and it's surrounded on 3 sides by established growth. The project is actually identified as a priority infill property by the general plan. The project will provide the much-needed community-supported extension of Memorial. It's already been stated, voluntarily offering to expand the parking lot for Margaret Mays School, which is a big help to them as well. Most importantly, on August 22nd of 2019, by a 4-0 vote, the Planning Commission supported the initial study, traffic study, mitigated negative declaration, and recommended approval to the city for annexation. No city council members or staff produced any specific adverse health or safety impacts upon the public health and safety or overriding considerations for annexation. And I think that's fairly significant as well. Traffic study determined the project's impacts are less than significant with no mitigation required. The negative declaration stated the same. Those studies were conducted for 240 units, and it's only at 144 units, so the impacts are going to be much less. It also provides 2 entrances to the neighboring homes on the east side of the project, both for ingress and egress and for emergency that doesn't exist today. The Memorial Drive extension will also serve as a traffic calming mechanism, which is desired by the city through the roundabouts and design. So we think it's a good project for the community. It not only provides infrastructure for the project, but goes beyond that for benefits to the community that the general plan was asking for, that was followed. So we greatly appreciate your support by continuing and voting yes. Thank you.
Thank you, Steve.
Alex Sidewalk.
Good evening, Commissioners. My name's Alex Siwak. My only question, well, 2 questions. One, in past years, these tentative map used to appear as part of the agenda so that somebody could make a reasonable understanding of what is happening. The second point is that Mr. Falgo said there's no envisioned further development to the east of this project. But I included in the 2010 sewer study done by Wallace Group for the city of San Jose in figure 2.4. If you look at that, you can see Santa Ana Road there, and there's probably maybe easily 80 to 100 acres that are going to be using that line in Santa Ana Road. So even though right now there may not be a project right next door that's going to be developed, back in 2010, all those properties were noted to either be slated for septic conversion or for infill development. And you can see that clearly on one of the 2 maps that I attached to the email from today. And it seems that when the Brigantino parcel was developed, for some reason, as in this case with the sewer extension, their frontage wasn't improved. So the development went through, but 400 or 500 feet of Santa Ana Street improvements were left out because they were in front of a private residence, even though at least one of those parcels was in the city. It changed the AP number to a city parcel. So I think that when the old tenet was that the developer should make improvements and put in infrastructure to the limits of their boundaries, I think there's a good reason for that. And if you can look at that figure 2-4, you'll see, how many parcels are sitting out there east of this project and north and south of Santa Ana Road, even crossing Fairview. So that's my only thing. Put it in now, or you'll have to dig it up later and do it again. Just like they did with the sewer line opposite the school, and just like the Brigantinos didn't improve their part of the street improvements on the frontage of their private homes, even though the rest of the project did have improvements. Thank you.
Thank you, Alex.
Doug Leatherboy.
Thank you. Mr. Chairman, members of the Commission, Doug Lettibor, representing HPG Hollister Development LLC. I just wanted to take a moment to thank you for hearing the matter. We've been at this project for almost 4 years now, I think. And to Commissioner Stevens' comments, there were some changes along the way, but I want to make sure I give credit where credit is due. Most of the comments and the improvements were by way of comments from planning, engineering, the school district, and members of the community. And a few of these changes that occurred from our conceptual plans were, number one, the addition of the multifamily homes. We had single-family homes throughout initially. The sidewalk connection that we've talked about to the east of the project, for some reason was not put in by the villages, but we are volunteering to do that. And I also want to thank Mr. Brigantino for cooperating with us for this sidewalk extension. And one item that I do want to just mention that I'm sure we can work out during the improvement plan process, but east of his driveway, I think we probably should have no parking signs there, but that's something we can work on later. The roundabouts, obviously that was voted on by the city, desired by the city. We hired an engineer that we think is the best out of Sacramento region, Rick Engineering. And they've designed these roundabouts and also the pedestrian walkways and bicycle paths. If you look at the cross-section for Memorial, I think we've got 17 feet from curb to the edge of sidewalk, so there's a big cushion there to, where you won't have children walking close to vehicles. We've narrowed down the width of the street curb to curb. I think we've only got about 22, 24 feet, as opposed to, I think originally it was 40 feet. So we've done a lot of things to improve the safety for the children there. We've tried really hard to do that, and we've coordinated that with the school district. The parking lot, obviously, Victor was instrumental in working with the school district on that. And as far as the design goes, we are very flexible. We're going to continue to work with the school district to see if that's more of a parking lot or a drop-off, but we're going to be dedicating it and fully improving it. The park size we increased, and in order to really comply with the general plan, we do have some lot sizes that are a little bit smaller than your zoning. But I think with the width of the street, the parking, the park site, I think overall it's a nice plan. Two other components, the city didn't want sound walls, or at least we had heard this, so we removed all the sound walls. Let me see, Ms. Stevens, you had talked about a pathway between the houses and the school. The police department kind of shut that down early on in the process. They didn't want an alleyway back there. So I think that's about it. My time's up. But again, thank you very much for your time. And we would certainly appreciate your support here. Thank you.
Thank you, Doug.
I have no more speaker cards unless anyone else from the audience would like to come up and speak and fill one out. And I see no hands raised in the Zoom audience.
Okay, with no further speakers, I will close the public hearing now at 7:21. I just would be speaking of the Memorial Street extension. We've been talking about that for over 16 years. I remember back in the 2005 general plan under the circulation element, it was one of the priorities. It was going to be a city responsibility. Back in 2005, the price tag was approximately $2.5 million. And I think that one of the pluses about this project is not only the extension of Memorial Drive, but the design of it. I like the design of it. I like the pedestrian protection element with the trees, the sidewalk. That's what I like to see for the street design. The coordination with, thanks to Commissioner Stevens, you played an important role to get the applicant to have a conversation with the school district. We received that letter. They support the project. One thing that wasn't mentioned is the underground water storage. That's a green element that I like a lot. The affordability, when you talk about affordability, this is affordability by design because it's a smaller lot, it's the duets. But I do have a comment or a suggestion to make. If you go to, I think it's sheet A19 showing the elevations of the duets. you can see the lower left elevation. All those duets along those western edge there face west. You see that's where you got a predominant amount of glazing there. Those units are going to heat up during the summer months with a lower incline of sun. It's going to be quite a cooling cost, unless with no shading elements to mitigate that, I suggest that that's either going to be a low E or solar glass on that western facing side to cut down on cooling costs. Other than that, the other elevations look fine. It's just that one elevation on the lower left with the predominant area of glazing. I think during the summer months they're going to want something to mitigate the heat. The floor plans, let's go to the floor plans on the duets. I like that open space concept. When you're talking about affordability of design, you can increase the perception of space without breaking up the space with walls. You have a nice open space that I think that's a nice floor plan. That's the trend to make a small house appear larger in so many words. The park, and I think the park is the amenity. It's in a performance overlay zone. It does respond. The project responds to providing the amenities that performance overlay zones outline. It's when you look at the area of that park, it's a good ratio, I think. So I think, and again, it's basically, the first thing we look at is compliance with the general plan. It does comply with the medium density general plan, and the applicant was showing good faith and providing more different, a variety of housing types. And initially it was all single family detached, and now we're going towards, in fact, I think with the new general plan, you're going to have an inclusionary affordability component that's coming down the line here. So this may not meet that affordability inclusionary zoning requirement, but at least it's a step in the right direction by providing these duets. And those are the comments that I had at this point. Seth?
I just want to make a comment. It's nice to see that the applicant worked with the school district in those improvements, and also to see the letter from the school in support of the project. I was just curious if it came up in discussion during events at the school, graduations, festivals, anything like that, the abundance of cars, if there was any discussion with the parking during that time. Right now they kind of utilize that empty field to park in, so I was just curious if that came up in any of the discussions with the school. That was the only kind of concern I had.
Yes, I have a few comments. So I feel like this is like this project for me is filled with a bunch of dilemmas, because I like the infrastructure improvements, the streets. I'm glad that there's going to be a way to get through, Memorial all the way to Santa Ana. I mean, it's been a long time coming, and it does look really nice. I appreciate all the work with the schools. I appreciate the smaller lots. I think the thing the thing that's causing me a lot of kind of angst is that there was this opportunity to provide higher density housing, and we only had the duets. And I think I would have liked to have seen some triplex, fourplexes, something that would have been a little bit, that would have been a little bit more, a little higher density. There's a lot of single family homes, even though the lots are smaller, and I agree that they are going to be a little bit more affordable than some of the other single family home projects. However, they're still going to be very expensive and out of reach for many of the residents of Hollister. And I think that until we start to see more projects that have threeplex, fourplexes, and sixplexes, that's going to continue to be an issue. And this was, I think, an opportunity to have a little bit of that. So I'm a little disappointed. I wish that there had been a little bit more like the plexes, right? Not just the duplexes, but triplexes, fourplexes, some other options. And I like the location because we've had so many projects where we're ramming a bunch of houses in a really small space in the west side, and we're just impacting that neighborhood so much. So I'm appreciating the, like getting out of that area and moving to other parts of Hollister. So it's a bit of a dilemma. I appreciate a lot of the things in this project, and I'm disappointed in some of the things, and I wish that we would have been moving in that direction. And although it does meet the current general plan, it isn't really meeting the mark in where we're looking for in the future, especially if we want families that currently are residents of Hollister to be able to afford some of these houses. So there is a dilemma for me. I just want to be really upfront and honest. So I'm still kind of figuring out like how to address that and how to be able to deal with that in this project. So I'm just really concerned with that. Oh, and can I just add one more comment? I'm really interested. I should have added this to my other comments, so I apologize for that. I was really interested in the comment made by one of the speakers about the frontage improvements and that issue, because that's been an issue for a really long time. And is there any resolution to that? Is there any way that could be a part of this project? I mean, with all the great pieces of this project, even with my concerns about the types of housing that's there, is there anything that can be done with that frontage? It's been an issue for a long time.
I might turn you over to Mark, but are we talking about the Santa Ana specifically extending the sewer line? I mean, I think to Mark's point, and he could add as well, the applicant is having the sewer line come, they're extending the sewer line to their project and having it come into their project. And I think Mark's point or comment addressing the comment that we received from the public was that it essentially would be a dead end, and typically developments if a development needs to extend a line, that's part of their development requirement. So like, for example, this development is extending lines that exist to their project. So if there was another development to the east, I think Mark's comment was that they would extend the sewer line as part of their development when it's needed, instead of having that kind of just stub that isn't being utilized. But I believe that if it was the desire of the commission, that they could put a condition on the project if that was the desire, to have it extend and end at their frontage. I don't know, Mark, if I hopefully didn't speak out of turn.
No, I think you hit it pretty well. And if I said that there was nobody out to the east that would ever be served by the sewer, that was not what I meant to say. What I meant was that any project out there would have to go through quite a process. First annexation, and then this whole tentative map application. And there isn't anything that we know of right now that is imminent. The verbalization of the comment that was made today mentioned the report from 2010 that said that there may be septic conversions or developments out in the east that would want to connect to this. So that kind of proves my point, is that's an 11-year-old, almost 12-year-old study that if we had put the pipe in the ground when that study came out, it would be 20% through its life cycle with not a drop of sewage going through it yet. And so my point is that there's no cost savings to do it now. There would be a cost savings if Santa Ana Road didn't exist, but there's no cost savings to do it now because Santa Ana Road does exist. That all the traffic control and all the trenching through existing pavement would have to happen today, the same as it would in 10 years if somebody wants to develop out there, or in 3 years if somebody wants to develop out there. So that's what I meant by I don't see an opportunity here for that could save the city the issue of having having to extend sewer in the future, or even another developer.
The comment, Mark, on extending the sewer to the boundaries of the project, is there any legality associated with that? Is there any requirement to extend the sewer line to the boundaries of the project? That's not a typical requirement for these multi-unit developments?
There isn't a legal requirement that I'm aware of to extend sewer past the point of use.
Okay. Thank you. Any other comments on this? Any further discussion on this item number 3?
Mr. Chair, is it okay if I follow up on some of the comments?
Yes, you may.
I just wanted to just address Roxanne's comments around the density. I just do want to reiterate that it is medium density. It is a better density than you've seen in the past with low density zoning. Obviously, the duets do help with that as well. We are keeping an average of 10 units per acre, so we are right in line with the requirements and the zoning that we have there. The good thing is that the city of Hollister is updating their general plan as I think you guys are members of the GPAC and understand, at least when I've been watching, that the densities are starting to increase. I love that. I'm very happy to see that, because as a member of our community, I couldn't agree with you more, right? That we should be putting more lots per acre if and when possible. This density, I think, is very consistent with the area. I do want to let you know that we did have outreach from the folks that live in the Briantino neighborhood, and they were concerned with a higher density than this. So they shared with us and they told us, Victor, please don't go any higher than what you guys are currently doing. They saw the draft map, and they were actually more concerned with the higher density. So being medium density and landing, currently with this configuration, we felt very, very happy with sort of the balance between the need for higher density, yet hearing the community's concerns about not wanting higher density. They actually wanted a lower density, right? And we felt like this was a nice sort of common ground, and obviously it fits right into medium density zoning. So I just wanted to share that with you. We did have conversations with the community. They were very happy with the park. They don't have a park in that area, or at least one that's close enough to that size. So they were very, very pleased with that. But I did want to share with you their concerns about a higher density than this.
Victor, did you have a public workshop then?
We did distribute, to the surrounding neighborhoods. I did reach out to, I think it was 3 neighbors that came out and actually called me directly. I shared with them my information. They called me directly. So I did have personal conversations with them, and I went out there and I met with one of them, and then like 10 neighbors, I think, ended up coming out. So it was a sort of an impromptu meeting there, but we did have an open line of communication with the neighbors.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Could I make an additional comment?
All right. Yes, you may. And then public hearing is closed.
So just to be clear on this figure 2.4, everything south of Santa Ana Road all the way to Fairview, extending down to Hillcrest and across Hillcrest, is currently in the sphere of influence of Hollister. So when Mr. Falgo says there's no chance of anything developed there for 10 years, that's not the case. Several years ago, we did a sewer study on 40 acres that we have between Hillcrest and Meridian, and one of the options was to go to the Santa Ana Road manhole. And I think it's always been a tenet that when you subdivide a property, you extend the water line, the sewer line, and whatever other underground lines, PG&E and so on, to the limits of your subdivision. I don't know where this is not, it's not legal. I mean, it's what the city always, every city requires. And on a totally separate thing, since these plans were not available on the internet, and I only found out about this project 2 days ago when I happened to look at the Planning Commission agenda. That's when I generated my emails. But is there an EVA on that westerly cul-de-sac there that services about 60 or 70 homes? Yeah, I was here and denied on an EVA that was 3 houses into having 2 access in and out. Unless there's an EVA on that parcel up there, on that road next to the school, you know, what is the standard of practice in requiring EVAs? I haven't looked at it. I don't, you know, I can't comment. I just know that when it was our turn to have this issue addressed, we were jumped all over, and our particular case was that once you got past the first 2 or 3 homes, there were 2 ingress and egress. And in fact, when our 13 homes are being developed, that's when we supplied 2 ways of coming in and out. The previous 38 homes were totally in a cul-de-sac, and nobody said boo about it. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, the public hearing is now closed at 7:40. So what is the pleasure of the commission on item number 3? Someone care to make a motion?
.32.
Further discussion on that motion? Do I have a second? I'll second the motion.
Mr. Chairman, can I ask that you do a roll call on this particular vote?
Yes.
Thank you.
Certainly.
Commissioner Seth Munzer, for the roll call, right? Sorry.
I'm gonna ask for a vote and then a roll call.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Okay. I have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Seth Munzer,
Aye.
Commissioner Roxanne Stevens, and Chairperson David Huboy.
Aye.
Thank you. Motion carries 3-0.
Okay. So now we go to the PUD, site architectural.
I'll make a motion to adopt a resolution approving conditional use permit 2021-8 for a planned unit development subject to the findings and conditions contained in the draft resolution. And that's PC Resolution 2021-33.
Further discussion? Do I have a second? I'll second that motion. I have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. CUP and site and architectural review has been approved. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Seth Munzer,
Aye.
Commissioner Roxanne Stevens, Chairperson David Huboy.
Aye.
Thank you. Motion carries 3-0.
Congratulations. Good luck on that project.
Commissioner
There's-
Huboy, there's a site and architectural review.
Oh, I apologize. I was kind of rolling that in on one motion, but my mistake.
I'll make the motion to adopt a resolution approving site and architectural review 2021-8, subject to the finding and conditions contained in the draft resolution. It'll be PC Resolution 2021-34.
Further discussion? I'll second the motion. I have a motion and a second on the site and architectural review. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Roll call, please.
Yes, Commissioner Seth Munzer,
Aye.
Commissioner Roxanne Stevens, Commissioner, or Chairperson, excuse me, David Huboy.
Aye.
Thank you. Motion carries 3-0.
Now is the time for congratulations. You're welcome. Okay. We're on item number 4, minor subdivision 2021-2. Jose Villalpando, the applicant, is requesting to subdivide a 13,147 acre parcel into 4 commercial lots with 1 remainder lot. The property is the remainder parcel of previously approved minor subdivision 2020-3 and is part of the Chapel Road Master Plan project area. The subject site is located at the southeast corner of Highway 25 and San Felipe Road in the North Gateway zoning district, further identified as San Benito County Assessor Number 051-100-048 CEQA Environmentally Impact Report previously prepared. Eva?
Yes. Thank you. Yes, so this is an application for a minor subdivision of the property identified as APN 054-100-048. It is located at the southeast corner of San Felipe Road and State Route 25. It's a subdivision to create 4 commercial parcels ranging in size from 1.9 to 4 acres with a remainder parcel of 2.33 acres. And this project site is part of the retail commercial area of the overall Chapel Road Master Plan and Study Area. At this time, it is just a requested approval for the minor subdivision tentative map. There's no development vertical construction proposals at this time. This is the proposed site plan. You can see San Felipe Road to the west on the left side of your screen, and it is also just south of the Highway 25 bypass. And it will have the Pacific Way extension to the south of the project. This is the public streets and utilities plan. This parcel, or this project, excuse me, as part of the project approval, the conditions of approval, there is a requirement that the property owner participate and provide the city of Hollister a fair share cost of the ultimate improvements on San Felipe Road at the Pacific Way and San Felipe intersection. And then they are also conditioned to provide an overall site plan design prior to any development proposals that it shows consistency with the Chapel Road Master Plan land use proposals that were adopted. So the master plan for the Chapel Road area that was adopted by the city council, they will need to provide a development site plan for the overall, all of the parcels in this area that complies with that plan. It is consistent with our North Gateway Commercial General Plan designation and the North Gateway zoning district. It's the second minor subdivision for this commercial center within that Chapel Road Master Plan area. So there's an overall 9 parcels, one of them being the remainder of this lot that has been, would be subdivided into commercial lots. It's been annexed into the city, and the subdivision overall requires kind of coordinated infrastructure planning consistent with the San Felipe Road corridor study that's currently going on, or it might have just been recently adopted actually, and then also with future project development within the entire Chapel Road annexation area. It is consistent with that Chapel Road annexation EIR, so it doesn't require further CEQA documentation. Staff recommends that the Planning Commission review the applicant's request, receive all written and oral testimony regarding the proposal, and make the following motion to adopt a resolution approving minor subdivision 2021-2, subject to the findings and conditions contained in the draft resolution. Thank you.
Any questions on the staff report?
I have none.
No questions? Open up the public hearing now at 11 minutes to 8. Any speaker cards on this item?
I have no speaker cards on the item, and I see no hands raised in the virtual audience.
No speakers? I will close public hearing now, 11 minutes to 8. It's the pleasure of the commission on item number 4. Minor subdivision.
I'll go ahead and make a motion. I'll make a motion to adopt a resolution approving minor subdivision 2021-2, okay? Subject to the findings and conditions contained in the draft resolution.
I'll second that motion.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
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 Minor subdivision 2021-2 has been approved. Congratulations. On item number 5, I need a little advice from Jason.
Good luck with the project.
Yes, good luck. Thank you very much. As it says, I'm the applicant, David Huboy. So what is the protocol that we only have 3 commissioners? I recuse myself and we don't have a quorum.
You're absolutely right, Commissioner, Chairperson Huboy. We don't have a quorum on this matter if you recuse yourself. And so I would recommend that you just move on to the next item. The request has been made, it's been entered with, and it'll presumably be addressed at another time, since this is a no action.
Okay.
I will say, despite that, you could recuse yourself. I'm not trying to tell the commission what to do. You could recuse yourself, and I suppose the other 2 commissioners could discuss it if they opted to, but no action, no vote could be taken.
Yeah, I really don't have anything to discuss.
Me either.
You know, and we won't be able to vote on it, so I'd say move on.
Move on.
Okay.
Understood.
All right, well, let's move on then. Very good. Thank you very much, Jason. So now we go to item number 6, minor subdivision 2018-1 and site and architectural review 2018-8 extension. Felipe Nin, LLC, the applicant, is requesting an extension for approved minor subdivision 2018-1 and site and architectural review 2018-8 to subdivide an 8.36 acre parcel into 4 lots consisting of 3.04 acres, 4.50 acres, 0.34 acres, and 0.48 acres. The approval includes site and architectural approval to construct approximately 220,000 square feet of indoor greenhouse buildings for a cannabis cultivation facility on existing commercial and fallow land, including an on-site parking and all utility connection, drainage, and landscape improvements. The project site is located at 773 San Felipe Road, south of McCloskey Road, and east of San Felipe Road in the North Gateway zoning district. The location is further identified as San Benito County Assessor Parcel Number 051-100-031, CEQA mitigated negative declaration previously prepared.
Thank you. Yes, this application request is for an extension, a 1-year extension of minor subdivision 2018-1 and site and architectural review 2018-18 for the Felipe 9 cannabis greenhouse project. The 2 approvals received approval by the City of Hollister Planning Commission on September 26, 2019, per resolutions 2019-42 for the minor subdivision and 2019-43 for the site and architectural review. The minor subdivision is to divide this parcel, which is approximately 8.4 acres, into 4 different lots. Parcels A and B would have greenhouse buildings on them, and parcels C and D would be for stormwater facilities. The project approval for the site and architectural review, this is the site plan, Greenhouse A and Greenhouse B. There are a total of approximately 220,000 square feet of greenhouse buildings, again, for cannabis cultivation use. The property located at 773 San Felipe Road, which is north of McCloskey Road and east of San Felipe Road. The project site is also directly east of a separate approval for a cannabis dispensary, and they share access from San Felipe Road to this project, though they are separate. Per the applicant, due to the effects of COVID-19 on commercial, industrial, and cannabis development opportunities, the applicant's team hasn't been able to progress with the project during their 2-year time approvals. However, they have indicated that they're seeing a turn in the development opportunity, community, and the market, and believe they'll be able to move forward with the project with an extension of the approval. And while the applicant's request was for a 2-year extension, the Subdivision Map Act, because this is a minor subdivision, as well as the City of Hollister Municipal Code, don't allow for an extension beyond a 1-year approval. There are some exceptions in the Subdivision Map Act, and if this map does qualify for any of those, they could receive non-discretionary extensions further of time. But at this time, staff is recommending the 1-year extension. So we would recommend that you review the request, receive all written and oral testimony regarding the proposal, and make a motion to adopt a resolution approving a 1-year extension for minor subdivision 2018-1 and site and architectural review 2018-8, subject to the findings and conditions contained in the draft resolution. Thank you.
Thank you, Eva. Any questions on the staff report?
No questions at this time.
Yeah, I just have one question. So if they come up to the 1 year and they need another extension, because obviously they're asking for 2, so they must think they need the 2, then what happens at that point?
So with the approval of the 1-year extension, they would have another year to submit building permits, or in this case, submit their tentative map and get started on the process. If they're not able to submit their tentative map by the time the project expires, it would in fact expire. They could at that time submit a new application, and it could be the same application, but it would go through new review and be subject to the current codes in the time that they submitted the application, and it would come to you for a review again.
Okay. I'll open up the public hearing at 4 minutes to 8. Speakers?
Gary Coates.
Mr. Coates, good evening.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the Commission. Gary Coates here this evening on behalf of the Felipe 9 project. Also, via Zoom, Mr. Patrick Orozco was also available should you have any questions, the owner in the Felipe 9 LLC. So I don't have much more to add. I think Ms. Kelly has done a very excellent job in presenting to you where we are, what we're requesting. Given the limitations with the COVID-19 in the sense of knowing when we can operate, how we operate, when openings are, how employees get, etc., it delayed our process. We're now seeing that, as we all know, hopefully come to some form of a better conclusion, which will then allow us to proceed in the process. So we're excited to look at that option. And we just respect very much the recommendation by your staff. We agree with the year, that's fine. We'll hopefully be able to get going sooner than that. If not, we'll follow the staff's lead on what we do to extend if we need to do that, but hopefully we won't. So I can answer questions. Mr. Roscoe is available to answer questions if you have any, and thank you again very much for the opportunity.
Welcome. Any questions for the applicant?
So you're saying the biggest delay is the contributor during the COVID-19? Okay.
Yes.
That's understandable.
Great. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Gary. Thank you. Anyone from the virtual audience care to speak on item number 6?
I have no hands raised in the virtual audience, Chairperson Huboy.
I will close public hearing now at 4 minutes to 8. It's a pleasure of the commission on item number 6.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that there's delays due, to this.
I can tell you that this COVID, the delays of processing materials for construction projects,
Uh,
delays in applications, virtual and electronic filings and bookmarking, and it's all, you know, the good old days. You walk into the building department with a roll of plans, you submit it.
Yeah, it's
Those days,
it's limited.
very, it takes months of processing because of COVID-19. I can tell you from my own experience as a practicing architect.
Yeah,
But we move forward and have a good attitude, and things will change for the better.
It's unfortunate that he's in a situation that he's got to ask for the extension, but I'm okay with moving forward with his request. I'd make the motion to adopt a resolution approving a one-year extension to minor subdivision 2018-1 and site and architectural review 2018-8, subject to the finding and conditions contained in the draft resolution. And this will be PC resolution 2021-35.
36.
36.
I have, let's go through this tonight just to make sure, because we're on different pages. So I have 2021-29 for the first item, 650 Central Avenue, for the site and architectural review. And for item number 2, I have resolution 2021-30 for a resolution recommending the determination of public convenience and necessity for the wine company. And then I have a resolution 2021-31 for a recommendation of approval of the CUP for the same. For item number 3, the Avalon Village subdivision, I have resolution 2021-32 for approval of the tentative map. I have 2021-33 for the approval of the conditional use permit for planned unit development. And I have resolution 2021-34 for the site and architectural review for the Avalon Village duets. And then for item number 4, I have resolution 2021-35 for minor subdivision 2021-2. Item 5 was moved due to the recusal. And so on item 6, I would have resolution 2021-36.
Thank you for the clarification.
Thank you.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Congratulations, Gary.
Thank you.
And Patrick, right? Patrick? He's on the virtual.
On the Zoom.
Yes,
And thank you
congratulations,
for your
Patrick.
patience. It's always tough to be the last one on the item.
The opposition was limited, so
Well, they knew you're such a powerful speaker, you know. They want to debate you. Okay, good luck, Gary. All right. We go to new business.
No business.
Well, okay, old business.
There's no old business at this time.
Planning Department reports.
At this time, we do not have any planning department reports.
Is there, I have a question. We're down to 3 commissioners. How are we doing is there a timeline on when we can fill these 2 vacancies?
I have no timeline. We've talked with the city clerks, and as I understand, there is no new applications. I believe they're also talking with people who submitted the applications during the last recruitment, and I don't believe that there's any interest, or people are on other commissions, or they've moved. So it is open, and we encourage everyone to apply, particularly in the 2 districts that we're missing. So that would be District number 1 and District number 4, correct? Yes. District 1 and District 4 are open, but at this time, I do not believe we have applications.
How is this position being advertised? Because I am concerned, because I have to go through, I am planning on taking some, I pride myself on my attendance, but every once in a while, I'm going to be taking a camping trip with my RPod RV. And I can't guarantee I'm going to make all these commission meetings. I have to go through my schedule. I think the next planning commission, I think we should review our schedules if it's going to remain this way.
Well, yeah, I mean, thank you for bringing that up, because next planning commission meeting, likely I will be in Seattle for work. So I was just going to do it by Zoom, but I know that there's an issue now whether or not we're going to be able to do that. So it may be an issue for me if they're not allowing virtual participation.
Also, just for clarification, the next meeting is earlier.
Right.
Okay.
It's like the
It's the
18th, right?
It would
Yeah.
be the 18th, the third Thursday, as
Yeah.
opposed to the 4th, yes.
I think there's a resolution in the works for getting that resolved for being able to attend virtually. Is that correct, Jason?
That's correct, Mr. Hugh Boyd. And of course, I have no idea. The city council can either vote for it or against it or change it, whatever the case is. So there's no guarantee on that. But I would say if you're going to be at a known location and it's open to the public, we might be able to make some other arrangements regardless of what happens with this current matter before the city council.
Yeah. Is the position, the open positions, are they being advertised in any way?
It is run through the city clerk, so I'm not entirely certain of exactly how it's advertised or how often, but I imagine it's in our newspaper for circulation. I believe, and I could be wrong, but I believe I've seen it on the social media. But we could ask the city clerks on exactly how.
Can you follow up with city clerk and see if we can somehow grease the wheels on that? Because I'm getting concerned with just 3 commissioners.
Certainly, yeah.
We go to Planning Commission reports. I have a report. Look what I have here in my right hand. It's called Planning Commissioner's Handbook, put out by the League of Cities. You can see it's dog-eared. It's got all kinds of postings on there. All the years I've been sitting up here, I've had to go and research various categories and subjects that are outlined in this Planning Commissioner's Handbook. And this is an old one. I think this is, what's the date on this? I don't want to spend time looking at trying to find the data on it, but I'd like staff to look into the League of Cities, get a couple of these printed out. Hopefully they've been updated for the new commissioners once we get them on board. This is a very important document.
Is it a subtle hint that you wanted a new one too?
I'd like to get a new one too. I think this has been out in the rain. I think I took it on a camping trip. I don't know. I've gotten good use out of it though. It's very useful and very helpful. And if to the general public, all my experience here, it's been challenging, but it's very rewarding being a planning commissioner all these years. I've enjoyed it. I've been able to, in my humble way, make contributions to this process. And I appreciate everyone working together, including staff and my fellow commissioners. We've got a real good core right here.
I agree. I mean, I think that as time goes on and now that COVID's kind of moving away, I've become busier and busier and busier, and I've had to give up some things. I've had to step away from things, but this is just one that I just don't want to, because it is very rewarding. I think there's a lot that you can contribute, a lot that you learn, a lot that you can help your community with. So, I mean, I really hope that if the public's listening, that they will consider applying. It is a really, it can be challenging, especially at first, but it's very rewarding. Totally agree.
And I tell you, you guys are doing a great job, and it's been a really great experience working with you on the General Plan Update Committee, Roxanne. Thank you for all your hard work. Now, don't you guys go anywhere now. I want we can't lose any more commissioners. We're actually the workhorse for the city council, I think, anyhow. Okay, so I have a call for a motion for adjournment.
I'll make the motion to adjourn.
I have a motion second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. We are adjourned. Thank you.
Good night, you guys.
Good
Great
night.
job. Thank you, staff, for all your hard work.
Thanks. Get home and maybe I can see the
Recording stopped.
You know what?
you're right. It
I'm a
just
Golden State
started.
Warrior fan.
Yeah, me too. It just started at 7, so
Right.
yeah, you're definitely.
Yeah, going for 5-0. Do you like the Warriors, Jason?
Excuse me?
Do you follow the Golden State Warriors?
I'm a Kings fan.
Oh, too bad about the Kings.
They're
That was-
like my second team.
Actually, they've got some players on that team. Yeah.
It's like my second team.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, I do. I saw a River Cats game just about 3 weeks ago. I went visiting my brother in Sacramento River Cats.
Oh, right.
Yeah, it was enjoyable.